The ballroom was packed. 300 of Houston's most powerful people. Senators, hotel moguls, old money, new money. They were all there for one reason: to meet the mysterious woman who had just bought the biggest hospitality company in Texas. No one knew her name. No one had seen her face. The doors opened, and when she walked in, one man in the crowd dropped his champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor because he recognized her. 7 years ago, she was his maid. 7 years ago, she was pregnant with his child. 7 years ago, he threw her out on the street like garbage. And now, she owned everything, including his company. Hello, welcome to African Moonlight Tales. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your occupation used in the story. Use the story transcript to generate 10 chapters long story, about 800 words per chapter, and add YouTube CTA at the end of each chapters. I want the cold open over, and cold open must be a 1 minute there, friends. And most important thing, turn your notification bell so you can get informed when I dropped another amazing story. Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments. What would you do if your spouse tried to kill you and you survive? Will you take a revenge or disappear forever? Marcus Okafor had the kind of life most people only dream about, and he made sure everyone knew it. At 34, he was the CEO of Okafor Grand Hotels, a $2 billion hospitality and real estate empire based in Houston, Texas. His face was on billboards along I-10. His name was in Forbes. His opinion moved markets. He lived in a 30-room mansion in River Oaks, the wealthiest neighborhood in Houston. Marble floors, gold fixtures, a swimming pool large enough to host 100 guests, 6 luxury cars in the driveway, a private jet at Bush Intercontinental, a closet full of custom suits that cost more than most people earn in a year. Marcus had everything, and he believed he deserved every bit of it. "I built this from nothing," he would tell anyone who listened. "My father came to America with $40 in his pocket. Now look at us. This is what happens when you are born to win." He said things like that a lot. Born to win. Built different. Self-made. The truth was a little more complicated. His father, Chief Patrick Okafor, had indeed come to America with almost nothing. But the old man had worked 70-hour weeks for 30 years. He had built Okafor Grand Hotels brick by brick, deal by deal, handshake by handshake. When Chief Okafor retired 5 years ago, he handed the company to Marcus. Not because Marcus had earned it, but because Marcus was his only son. "Take care of this company," the old man had said. "It is our family's legacy. And remember, treat people well. Everyone deserves respect. The janitor, the driver, the maid. Everyone." Marcus had nodded. Then he had ignored every word. Under Marcus's leadership, Okafor Grand Hotels grew. But so did Marcus's ego. He fired employees for sport. He humiliated managers in front of their teams. He treated his staff like furniture. "Do you know who I am?" was his favorite sentence. He said it to waiters, to valet attendants, to anyone who did not bow fast enough. His mother, Mrs. Linda Okafor, was worse than her son. A tall, elegant woman who wore designer everything and looked down at anyone who did not. She had married Chief Okafor when he was already wealthy and had spent the last 20 years acting like the money was hers. "You are an Okafor," she would tell Marcus. "Okafors do not associate with common people. We are royalty." She picked his friends. She vetted his dates. She controlled every corner of his social life. And she had very specific plans for his future wife. "You will marry Diana Emba," she announced one evening over dinner. "Her father owns the largest construction company in the South. The merger of our families will be unstoppable." Marcus shrugged. "Is she beautiful?" "She is acceptable. More importantly, she is wealthy." Then set it up. That was how Marcus approached everything. Transactions, deals, arrangements. People were assets to be used, nothing more. But fate had a different plan for Marcus Okafor, and arrived at his front door wearing a simple cotton dress and carrying a small suitcase. It was a Thursday in October, 2 in the morning. Amara was in the kitchen cleaning up after one of Mrs. Linda's dinner parties. 50 guests, mountains of dishes, hours of work. She was exhausted. Her back ached. Her hands were raw from scrubbing. But she kept going because that was what she did. She heard footsteps. Heavy. Unsteady, Marcus stumbled into the kitchen. He was drunk. His tie was loose. His shirt was half open. He smelled like whiskey and expensive cologne. He had been drinking alone in his study after the guests left, something he did more and more these days. Because despite all his wealth, all his power, all his possessions, Marcus Okafor was lonely. He would never admit it. Not to his mother, not to his friends, not even to himself. But the truth sat in his chest like a stone. He had everything, and he felt nothing. "You're still here?" he said, squinting at Amara. "Just finishing the dishes, sir." He leaned against the counter and watched her work. "Everyone else went home hours ago. There was a lot to clean, sir." "Stop calling me sir. It makes me feel old." Amara said nothing. Kept scrubbing. "What's your name again?" "Amara, sir." "I said stop calling me sir." He smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "Amara. That means grace, right? In Igbo." She looked up, surprised. "Yes. You know Igbo. My father made sure of it. Said a man should never forget where he comes from." He laughed, but the sound was hollow. "I forgot most of it anyway." They were quiet for a moment. Then Marcus said something he had never said to anyone on his staff. "Sit down. You look exhausted." "I am fine." "Sit down. Please." She sat. He poured 2 glasses of water and slid one across the counter to her. "My mother works you too hard," he said. "I don't mind. You should. She treats the staff like machines." He paused. "I've told her to stop." "You have." "She doesn't listen. She never listens." He stared at his glass. Then he said quietly, "You can ask me something if you want." Amara studied him for a long moment. Without the arrogance, without the crowd of people telling him how great he was, he looked like a man who had forgotten what rest felt like. "With everything you have," she said softly, "are you happy?" No one had ever asked him that. Not his mother, not his friends, not the women who hovered around him for his credit cards and his last name. Marcus stared at his glass. "No," he whispered, "I'm not." And for the first time in his adult life, Marcus Okafor was honest. They talked until sunrise. Not about money, not about business, not about status, about life, about family, about the things that actually mattered. Amara told him about her mother, about her siblings, about why she worked so hard. Marcus listened, really listened, and something cracked open inside him, something he had kept locked away for years. It happened slowly after that. A conversation here, a shared meal there. Late nights in the kitchen when the house was dark and the masks came all the way off. Marcus began looking for Amara, thinking about her, wanting to hear her laugh, a laugh she gave freely and honestly, nothing like the polished, calculated laughter of the women his mother paraded in front of him at charity dinners. Amara, despite every warning in her head, found herself looking back. "This is dangerous," Grace warned her, pulling her aside one morning. "He is the boss. You're the housekeeper. Nothing good comes from this." "Nothing." "I know," Amara said. "Then stop." "I know," she said again. But she did not stop. 3 months after that first night in the kitchen, they were in love. Or at least, Amara was in love. Marcus was in something he did not have the courage to name out loud. They kept it hidden. Every touch was stolen. Every moment borrowed. Every kiss was a secret. Marcus came to her room at night after the house went dark. He was gone before the sun came up. And in those quiet hours between midnight and morning, Amara felt something she had not felt since her mother died. "Safe. Why can't we just tell people?" she asked one night, her head resting on his chest. "You know why. Your mother. She has plans for me, Amara. Plans that do not include someone like you." The words stung. She lifted her head and looked at him in the dim light. "Someone like me? What kind of person am I, Marcus?" He pulled her closer. "You are the only real thing in my life." He kissed her forehead. "But the world I live in doesn't care about real. It cares about image, status, which family you come from, and which do you care about." He was quiet for a long time. "I'm trying to figure that out." But he never figured it out fast enough. Because 4 months into their secret, Amara missed her period. Then she missed another one. And a test confirmed what she already suspected. She was pregnant with Marcus Okafor's child. She sat on the edge of her small bed in the servants' quarters, holding the test in trembling hands. Joy and terror fought for space in her chest. A baby, a new life. But whose life would this child have? Would Marcus step up? Would he choose her? Would he finally break free from his mother's iron grip? She waited 2 days before telling him. She made him dinner, his favorite. Jollof rice with fried plantain. The way he said reminded him of Sunday afternoons at his grandmother's house when he was a boy. She set it up in the kitchen late at night, when they were alone. I need to tell you something. He was eating, relaxed, smiling. What's up? I'm pregnant. The fork stopped halfway to his mouth. Silence. Long, heavy, suffocating. Say something, Amara whispered. Marcus set his fork down slowly. He ran a hand over his face, stood up, sat back down, then stood again. Okay, we can handle this. Handle it? How? I don't know. I need to think. Marcus, this is our baby. There is nothing to think about. Amara, you don't understand. If my mother finds out, forget your mother. Her voice was steady, quiet, but her eyes were fierce. This is about us. About our child. Keep your voice down. He was pacing now, running his hands through his hair, glancing at the kitchen door like a man looking for an exit. And in that moment, Amara saw it. The truth she had been afraid to look at directly. He was not trying to figure out how to be with her. He was trying to figure out how to escape. You're not going to choose me, are you? She said. He could not look at her. I need time. Time for what? To ask your mother for permission to love me. That is not fair. Fair. Her voice broke, just once, then held. I am carrying your child, Marcus. Nothing about this is fair. He walked out. Amara sat alone in that kitchen, her hand on her stomach, her heart in pieces. She gave him 1 week. He gave her silence. The silence lasted 6 days. On the 7th day, everything exploded. Mrs. Linda found out. Not from Marcus, not from Amara, but from the trash. One of the other housekeepers found a pregnancy test in Amara's bathroom waste bin. Within an hour, it was in Mrs. Linda's hands. Marcus Okafor, get down here. Now, Marcus came downstairs to find his mother in the grand sitting room, holding the test like a weapon. Amara was already there, standing in the corner, 2 security guards by the door. What is this? Mrs. Linda's voice was dangerously quiet. Marcus froze. Mama, I can explain. Explain? Explain how you got the maid pregnant? Do you have any idea what this would do to our family? To our reputation? To the merger with the Emba family? Diana's father will pull out. We will lose everything. She turned to Amara, and her eyes turned to venom. You scheming little rat. You planned this, didn't you? You saw my son's money and that is not true. Amara's voice cracked, but held. I love him, and he loves me. Mrs. Linda let out a cold, hollow laugh. Love? You think an Okafor loves a maid? You are nothing. You are less than nothing. You are the dirt we walk on. Mama, stop. Marcus stepped forward. No, you stop. You have a choice to make. Right now, this girl and her pregnancy, or your family, your company, your future. Choose. The room went dead silent. Amara looked at Marcus. Everything hung on what he would say next. Her eyes begged him across the room. Just this once. Choose me. Marcus looked at his mother, then at Amara, then at his mother again. His jaw tightened. His eyes hardened. When he spoke, his voice was cold. Colder than Amara had ever heard. Amara, you need to leave. The words hit her like a physical blow. This was a mistake. All of it. Pack your things. Marcus, I am carrying your child. I'll arrange money for the situation. But you cannot stay here. The situation? This is a baby. Your baby. Security, please escort her out. The guard stepped forward. Amara backed against the wall, her hands instinctively shielding her stomach. Don't do this. Her voice was barely above a whisper. I have nowhere to go. I have nothing. Mrs. Linda smiled her poisonous smile. You heard my son. You have 10 minutes. Amara looked at Marcus one last time. Tears rolled freely down her face. You will regret this, she whispered. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But one day, you will understand what you just threw away. Marcus turned his back. 10 minutes later, Amara Nwosu walked out of the Okafor mansion. One small suitcase, the clothes on her back, $200 in her pocket, and a baby growing inside her. The gate closed. The night swallowed her whole. Most people would have broken, thrown out, pregnant, alone, no family in the country, no money, no home. No one coming to help. Most people would have given up. Amara Nwosu was not most people. She was the girl who had raised 3 siblings alone at 16. She was the girl who had crossed an ocean with a suitcase and a promise. She was the girl who had worked 16-hour days without complaint and sent money home before she fed herself. She was not going to break now. Not with a child depending on her. The first 3 months were brutal. She slept in shelters on the east side of Houston. She ate at soup kitchens. She took cleaning jobs for cash, day work, night work, anything that would not harm the baby. She saved every dollar. Grace, the cook from the Okafor mansion, was the only person who reached out. She sneaked Amara food, gave her second-hand clothes, let her use her home address for mail and documents. That family is evil, Grace said, pressing a bag of groceries into Amara's hands one afternoon. But God sees everything, Amara. Everything. Amara nodded, but she did not wait for God to act on her behalf. She took matters into her own hands. She remembered something her mother used to say on the hardest nights in Lagos. When you have nothing to lose. And a person with nothing to lose is the most dangerous person alive. Amara was dangerous now. She got a job at a mid-sized property management startup in Midtown Houston. Not as an office worker, as a cleaning technician. She came in every morning before anyone else and left every night after the last person went home. But she did not just clean. She listened. She watched. She learned. The company was run by a woman named Patricia Cole. Sharp, no-nonsense, self-made. Patricia had built her business from a single leased office and a laptop. She had no patience for excuses and no tolerance for laziness. One night, Patricia stayed late finishing a proposal. She walked through the building to get coffee and saw a light on in the small conference room. She pushed the door open. Amara was sitting at a table, a library book open next to her, watching a free property investment tutorial on a borrowed laptop, a yellow legal pad covered in careful notes beside her. Patricia stood in the doorway. "What exactly are you doing?" Amara jumped. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'll leave." "I'm sorry. You're studying commercial lease structures while 7 months pregnant. I know it looks strange. How long have you been doing this?" Amara hesitated. 3 months. Patricia walked to the table, pulled out a chair, and sat down across from her. "Show me what you've learned." Amara showed her. Patricia's eyes moved slowly across the notes. The research, the calculations, the questions Amara had written in the margins, smart questions, the kind that took industry veterans years to think to ask. She leaned back in her chair. "What is your name?" "Amara Nwosu." "Well, Amara Nwosu." Patricia folded her hands. "Starting Monday, you're not a cleaning technician anymore. You're my intern. Paid." Amara stared at her. I don't understand. I've been looking for someone with hunger, with drive, with the kind of fire that doesn't go out when things get hard." She stood up. "I think I just found her." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "I won't let you down. I know you won't." That was the beginning. In the 7 years since he threw Amara out, everything from Marcus had slowly, quietly fallen apart. He just had not been paying attention. It started with the marriage. He married Diana, the woman his mother chose. The wedding was enormous. 400 guests, magazine spreads, the power couple of Houston. Behind closed doors, it was empty from day one. Diana did not love Marcus. She loved what Marcus represented. His credit cards, his name, his lifestyle. She spent money with terrifying ease. Shopping trips that cost hundreds of thousands. Vacations to places that cost more than most people made in 5 years. A collection of designer bags she never opened, still wrapped in tissue inside their boxes. She gave Marcus nothing in return. No warmth, no companionship, no children. "I am not ready for kids," she would say whenever the subject came up. What she meant was, children would inconvenience her. And while his personal life drained him, his professional life collapsed beneath him. Marcus had made bad decisions. Risky expansion into markets he did not understand. Partnerships with people who recognized his arrogance before he recognized it in himself. Key executives who quietly resigned rather than endure another humiliating all-hands meeting. The talent left. The quality left with them. Okafor Grand Hotels, the $2 billion empire his father had built, was now valued at $580 million and dropping every quarter. The board was losing confidence in public. Investors were pulling out in private. The media was asking questions in print. Okafor Grand Hotels. Is the empire crumbling? Marcus responded the way he always did, with arrogance. We are fine. I am fine. Anyone who doubts this company will eat their words. But they were not fine. And then came the final blow. A company called Nwosu Coal Properties made a hostile takeover bid for Okafor Grand Hotels. The offer was stunning, above market value, impossibly generous, impossible for a weakened board to refuse. They voted to accept within 72 hours. Who is Nwosu Coal? Marcus screamed at his lawyers. Who is behind this? Who authorized this offer? We're looking into it, sir. The founder keeps an extremely low profile. No public photos. No interviews. Just results. Find out who they are. No one takes my company. But it was already done. The paperwork was signed. The deal was closed. Okafor Grand Hotels. The company Chief Patrick Okafor had built with his own hands over 30 years, now belonged to Nwosu Coal Properties. And Marcus did not even know who had taken it until the night of the gala. Nwosu Coal Properties announced a celebration event at the Houston Four Seasons. 300 guests. Houston's most powerful names. Everyone was invited, including Marcus Okafor. You should go, his lawyer advised, choosing his words carefully. Show the new owner you are willing to cooperate. Perhaps they will keep you on as a consultant. A consultant in his father's company. The humiliation burned through him like acid. But he went. He put on his best suit, straightened his tie, and walked into the Four Seasons ballroom with what remained of his pride. The room was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers, white roses on every table, a live jazz quartet in the corner. 300 of Houston's most powerful people, all waiting for the mysterious founder to appear. Marcus stood near the bar, drinking whiskey, trying to look like he was not quietly dying inside. His mother called. Have you seen them yet? Who is this person? Not yet. They haven't come out. Find out who they are. If it's someone we know, maybe we can still negotiate. Get our company back. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit the stage. The MC raised his microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce the founder and CEO of Nwosu Coal Properties, the woman who has taken the Texas real estate world by storm. Please welcome Ms. Amara Nwosu. Marcus's blood turned to ice. No, it was not possible. The doors at the back of the ballroom opened wide, and she walked in. In the 7 years since he threw Amara out, everything from Marcus had slowly, quietly fallen apart. He just had not been paying attention. It started with the marriage. He married Diana, the woman his mother chose. The wedding was enormous. 400 guests, magazine spreads, the power couple of Houston. Behind closed doors, it was empty from day one. Diana did not love Marcus. She loved what Marcus represented. His credit cards, his name, his lifestyle. She spent money with terrifying ease. Shopping trips that cost hundreds of thousands. Vacations to places that cost more than most people made in 5 years. A collection of designer bags she never opened, still wrapped in tissue inside their boxes. She gave Marcus nothing in return. No warmth, no companionship, no children. I am not ready for kids, she would say whenever the subject came up. What she meant was, children would inconvenience her. And while his personal life drained him, his professional life collapsed beneath him. Marcus had made bad decisions. Risky expansion into markets he did not understand. Partnerships with people who recognized his arrogance before he recognized it in himself. Key executives who quietly resigned rather than endure another humiliating all-hands meeting. The talent left. The quality left with them. Okafor Grand Hotels, the $2 billion empire his father had built, was now valued at $580 million and dropping every quarter. The board was losing confidence in public. Investors were pulling out in private. The media was asking questions in print. Okafor Grand Hotels. Is the empire crumbling? Marcus responded the way he always did, with arrogance. We are fine. I am fine. Anyone who doubts this company will eat their words. But they were not fine. And then came the final blow. A company called Nwosu Coal Properties made a hostile takeover bid for Okafor Grand Hotels. The offer was stunning, above market value, impossibly generous, impossible for a weakened board to refuse. They voted to accept within 72 hours. Who is Nwosu Cole? Marcus screamed at his lawyers. Who is behind this? Who authorized this offer? We're looking into it, sir. The founder keeps an extremely low profile. No public photos. No interviews. Just results. Find out who they are. No one takes my company. But it was already done. The paperwork was signed. The deal was closed. Okafor Grand Hotels. The company Chief Patrick Okafor had built with his own hands over 30 years, now belonged to Nwosu Cole Properties. And Marcus did not even know who had taken it until the night of the gala. Nwosu Cole Properties announced a celebration event at the Houston Four Seasons. 300 guests. Houston's most powerful names. Everyone was invited, including Marcus Okafor. You should go, his lawyer advised, choosing his words carefully. Show the new owner you are willing to cooperate. Perhaps they will keep you on as a consultant. A consultant in his father's company. The humiliation burned through him like acid. But he went. He put on his best suit, straightened his tie, and walked into the Four Seasons ballroom with what remained of his pride. The room was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers, white roses on every table, a live jazz quartet in the corner. 300 of Houston's most powerful people, all waiting for the mysterious founder to appear. Marcus stood near the bar, drinking whiskey, trying to look like he was not quietly dying inside. His mother called. Have you seen them yet? Who is this person? Not yet. They haven't come out. Find out who they are. If it's someone we know, maybe we can still negotiate. Get our company back. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit the stage. The MC raised his microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce the founder and CEO of Nwosu Cole Properties, the woman who has taken the Texas real estate world by storm. Please welcome Ms. Amara Nwosu. Marcus's blood turned to ice. No, it was not possible. The doors at the back of the ballroom opened wide, and she walked in. But this was not the Amara he remembered. Not the girl in the cotton dress with the small suitcase. Not the woman he had last seen with tears streaming down her face as his security guards walked her to the gate. This Amara wore a custom emerald gown that moved like water, diamond earrings that caught every light in the room. Her hair swept up with effortless elegance. She was stunning, commanding, radiant in a way that had nothing to do with the dress or the jewelry. It came from somewhere deeper, from years of difficulty survived. From a self she had built entirely on her own terms. Every head in the room turned, and beside her, holding her hand, was a little boy, 6 years old, big brown eyes, a smile that lit up the entire ballroom, a smile that looked exactly like Marcus Okafor's. The champagne glass slipped from Marcus's fingers. It shattered on the marble floor. The sound echoed across the ballroom. People turned, and Amara's eyes, calm, clear, unhurried, found his across 300 people, across 7 years, across all the pain and silence and betrayal. She did not flinch. She did not cry. She simply smiled. Calm, powerful, devastating. And Marcus felt his knees buckle. Amara addressed the crowd from the stage. Her voice was steady and warm, carrying easily across the room without effort. Thank you all for being here tonight. 7 years ago, I had nothing. No money, no home, no one who believed in me. She paused. That is not entirely true. One person believed in me. My partner, my colleague, my sister, Patricia Cole. Patricia, please stand. Patricia rose from a front row seat, and the room applauded. Together, we built something extraordinary. But I didn't come here tonight just to celebrate business. I came to share a lesson. Her eyes moved through the crowd and settled, just for a moment, on Marcus. Sometimes, she said quietly, the people you throw away are the ones who were meant to lift you up. And sometimes the people who lift you up are the ones you never thought to look at twice. The crowd murmured. They did not know what she meant. Marcus did. Every single word was a blade, clean, precise, and true. After the speech, people swarmed the stage. Business cards, congratulations, praise. Marcus pushed through the crowd. Amara. She turned. Up close, she was even more breathtaking. The years had not simply passed over her. They had transformed her. There was a peace in her eyes that had not been there before, a fire that burned steady and sure. Marcus. Her voice was calm, almost friendly. It has been a long time. I need to talk to you. Not here. Please. She studied him for a long moment. 5 minutes. She led him through a side door to a private terrace overlooking the Houston skyline. The city glittered below them. 7 years ago, she had been out there somewhere, sleeping in a shelter, eating at a soup kitchen, carrying his child alone while he slept in a 30-room mansion. The shame hit him so hard he had to hold a railing. Amara. His voice came out smaller than he intended. Before you say anything, I want you to know I didn't buy your company for revenge. She turned to look at him. I know. He blinked. Then why? Because it was a good company. Your father built something real, something valuable, and you were destroying it. She said it without cruelty. Just fact. I'm going to restore it. Rebuild it. Make it what your father intended. That hurt worse than revenge would have. And the boy. Marcus could barely get the words out. Is he? His name is Caleb Marcus Nwosu, she said. He is 6 years old. He is brilliant. He is kind. He is everything good in this world. She paused. And he is mine. I carried him alone. I gave birth to him alone. I raised him alone. While you were buying sports cars and marrying a woman your mother approved of. Every word was true, and every word broke something inside him. Amara, I'm sorry. For everything. For throwing you out. For being a coward. She looked at him steadily. You were not a coward, Marcus. You were exactly who you chose to be. I was wrong. Yes, you were. The Houston skyline sparkled below them. 7 years of pain hung in the air between them. Marcus fell to his knees. Right there, on the terrace of the Four Seasons, in his custom suit, in the city that used to worship him, he fell to his knees. I am sorry, he wept. I am so sorry. Please, let me know my son. Please. I will do anything. Amara looked down at him. A long moment passed. Get up, Marcus. Her voice was quiet. Okafors don't kneel. Isn't that what your mother always said? He flinched. Get up. He rose. I'm not doing this for you, Amara said. And I'm not doing it because you deserve it. She turned to face the skyline, then back to him. I'm doing it because Caleb deserves to know where he comes from. Marcus exhaled slowly. Does that mean? It means I will let you meet him. Slowly. On my terms. On his terms. When he is old enough to have them. Her voice was steady, measured. If he wants to know you, I will not stand in his way. But if you ever hurt him, if you ever make him feel like he is not enough, if you ever choose someone else over him the way you chose your mother over me, her eyes hardened. I will remove you from his life so completely that he will not remember your face. Understand. And Marcus, one more thing. Yes, your mother is never to come near my son. Not once. Not for a moment. That woman called me a rat. She called me dirt. She called me nothing. Amara's voice did not waver. She will not touch my child. That is not a request. Marcus nodded slowly. Whatever you say. I just want a chance. Amara turned to leave. At the terrace door, she stopped. The company your father built. I am going to make it greater than he ever imagined. She did not look back. Not for you. For Caleb. Because one day it will be his legacy. She walked back inside, and Marcus Okafor stood alone on that terrace, looking out at the city that had once bowed to him, finally understanding what he had thrown away. In the months that followed, Amara kept every word. She rebuilt Okafor Grand Hotels from the foundation up. New leadership, better culture, a company that actually reflected the values Chief Patrick Okafor had tried to build, dignity, excellence, and respect at every level, from the executive suite to the housekeeping staff. Under Amara's ownership, the company tripled in value within 2 years. She kept the Okafor name on every building. Not for Marcus. For Chief Patrick, the old man who had built something real, who had told his son to treat everyone with respect, and whose son had ignored every word. Marcus met Caleb slowly, carefully, on Amara's terms. The boy was cautious at first. Children can sense wounds they do not have language for yet. But children also have enormous hearts. And eventually, Caleb let his father in, not as a hero, not as someone to be admired, but as a flawed man learning, late, what it means to show up. Marcus never got Amara back. She did not want him. She did not need him. She had built a life that was whole without him. And in time, she found someone who loved her the way she had always deserved. Fully, openly, without shame, without condition, without a mother in the next room giving approval. It hurt Marcus to watch, but he understood, in his bones, that he had earned the hurt. Diana filed for divorce the moment Okafor Grand Hotels changed hands. She took everything the prenuptial agreement allowed and moved to Miami. She had never loved him. She had loved a lifestyle. And Mrs. Linda Okafor? She called Amara's office after the gala, left a voicemail, her voice shaking with fury. "Listen here, you ungrateful girl. That company belongs to my family. You stole it. I will." Amara's legal team responded with a single letter. "Mrs. Okafor, Nwosu Coal Properties owns all assets formerly belonging to Okafor Grand Hotels, including the office building at 1200 Post Oak Boulevard where you currently maintain a private suite. Your occupancy agreement is hereby terminated. You have 30 days to vacate. Sincerely, Legal Department, Nwosu Coal Properties." Mrs. Linda moved out in 15 days. And Amara Nwosu? She did what she had always done. She woke at 5 every morning. She packed Caleb's lunch. She drove him to school. She showed up to the office and made decisions that changed thousands of lives. Employees, tenants, small business owners who finally had a company willing to invest in them. She never forgot the rice. She never forgot the shelter. She never forgot the hospital room where she held her son alone with no one's hand to hold. But she also never let those memories become chains. She let them become fuel. She let them become the reason she treated every single person in her company, from the executive board to the parking attendants, like a human being with a name worth knowing. Because Amara Nwosu had learned the lesson early, in the hardest possible way. A person is not their position. The maid serving your dinner might have a mind that could change your entire industry. The woman you throw into the street might build an empire from the ashes of your contempt. And the child you refuse to claim might become the heir to everything you lose. Fate has a long memory, and it never, ever forgets. If this story moved you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Every week, we bring you stories of resilience, redemption, and the kind of comebacks that remind you your beginning does not determine your ending. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. We will see you in the next one. 3 months after joining Patricia Cole's company as an intern, Amara gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Caleb. The name meant wholehearted. And from the moment she held him in that public hospital room, no one beside her, no one holding her hand, she poured her whole heart into 2 things, her son and her future. Caleb slept in a second-hand crib in a studio apartment Grace helped Amara afford. While he slept, Amara studied. While he napped, she worked. She missed nothing and she asked for nothing she did not earn. Her internship became a full-time position. Her full-time position became a promotion. Her first promotion became a second. Within 2 years, she was Patricia's right hand, managing client portfolios, negotiating lease terms, sourcing commercial properties that others overlooked. Within 3 years, she was running her own division. Within 5 years, she had developed a property analytics platform that used data modeling to identify undervalued commercial real estate in growing markets. Investors who used it doubled their returns in 18 months. Word spread fast in Houston's real estate circles. Patricia came to her office one afternoon and closed the door behind her. "I want to offer you a partnership," she said. 50-50. Amara looked up from her desk. "Patricia, I can't accept that. You gave me my start, and you turned that start into a $40 million division. 50-50, Amara. Take it." She took it. Within a year of the partnership, their company, Nwosu Coal Properties, was valued at $300 million. Within 2 years, it crossed $500 million. By year 6, it was valued at $900 million. By year 7, the year Caleb turned 6 years old and started losing his baby teeth, Amara Nwosu was a billionaire. But she did not act like one. She still woke at 5 every morning, still packed Caleb's lunch herself, still drove a modest sedan. She lived in a clean, comfortable home. Nothing extravagant, nothing designed to impress. Every dollar she did not spend, she invested. Every connection she made on merit. She had not forgotten where she came from. She had not forgotten what it felt like to count grains of rice. She had not forgotten the cold marble floor of the Okafor mansion. And she had not forgotten the promise she made as that gate closed behind her. You will regret this. The time for regret was coming. Meanwhile, as Amara rose, Marcus Okafor fell. Slowly, quietly, in a way that the world noticed before he did.